UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, former NFL quarterback.
29-year-old Sean Salisbury, his second start as a National Football League quarterback.
All right, guys, welcome in Unpaved. I'm Sean. Adam Sager will be along in just a second. It's draft time. You're going to start hearing stories. We got a lot to talk about today, man. Before I get into this draft talk, is optics can be a brutal thing if you're not protecting yourself against the optics. And if you're willing to not protect yourself against it, then you better be prepared for all the shit we're going to talk. Okay? I mean, in this world, even if it's not true, perception makes it true. Draft around the corner. Executive orders and the Nick Sabans of the world talking about college sports. We got a ton going on, and traits that you need for, to impress these college coaches, or should I say NFL coaches and scouts as you get prepared for the draft. Be prepared, because this is the month. Hell, look at the timing of even a book on, I think it's Alan Shipnuck on the book on Rory McIlroy. The timing's out. Augusta week, of course. And I was listening to him. Who was a brilliant writer, covers golf. And I was listening to him in an interview and was talking about he doesn't care what the athlete thinks about the biography that he and Rory, they go through and they talk and they go. He doesn't care when it comes out if the athlete doesn't like some of the controversial stuff, because that's part of the story. He cares about how the fans respond. So when we get mad at the release, but of course they're going to release it at the most heightened awareness point. Just like during the draft, they're going to release stuff and people are going to talk good and bad about stuff they want to rise and fall. Let's bring Segs in. Segs, to me, there are certain things. I think we over scout and I think we over analyze and I think we talk ourselves out of players more than we talk ourselves into them at this time of year. But I also think that the general public also will see a guy make a throw and talk themselves into it over one play in shorts and a t-shirt than we will. But we're going to get in. I know we're going to start, and I'll let you talk about what Peter Schrager, who I think is really good at his job. Love Peter. Talks about Makai Lemon, USC's wide receiver, and the Rams. And there'll be a lot of movement, at least trade talk, whether it's before or draft day, trying to move up. I've told you from day one, I think Makai Lemon's a football playing Jesse. And I don't think there's any, if he's around at 15 or 18, then there's something we don't know, because this dude is I think he's going to be drafted in the first 12, 10 picks. I do. And they may even move up for him, which we'll discuss here in a second. But we do overanalyze. We dig deep, and we should dig deep. You're investing a lot of money if you're a team and time. But I can tell you one thing that is never over-evaluated and can be under-evaluated is just pure mental, physical, and emotional toughness when it comes to football players in general, athletes and in life. But you find me a guy who's mentally and emotionally and physically tough, and maybe is a 7.5, 8 talent, and then flip it. Give me a guy who's not emotionally tough, kind of hovers mediocrity and lets things affect him, but is a really talented player. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking the tough guy all day, every day. I just am. I am. I am taking the tough, and I don't mean fist fight in a bar tough. I'm talking about just on the field, can overcome shit, because most of the time you're on unpaved road when you're playing sports. It's never easy. The great ones make it look easy, right. And we all have those games. I've come out of a game where you didn't get hit, didn't get touched, and it's like, damn, that felt easy. But all the preparation that went into it, it's just one of those days where everything you studied on tape came to fruition. Every time the Hall of Fame offensive line protected you to perfection, you made all the right reads. It was like, man, that was easy. Well, it was. Then the next week you get your ass kicked. You say, I did all the same things, studied right, knew what their weaknesses were. They made one change and you went haywire and fucked it up. Well, with Makai Lemon, and I don't think that this Rams story about Peter Schrager talking about it would be the only team thinking about this, but the Rams would be at the top of the list. Why, sakes? Because they don't love assets and future draft picks. And I don't mean they love them to put themselves in position to get a guy they think is going to be with them a long time. And keep an eye on the Puka Nacua story and where the Rams draft and who they draft in this. How big is this story? How much money is he going to want? But also, are the off the field the troubles that are going on going to prevent them from moving big time forward with him? They got to find the next guy. Or are they secure with it? Those things in this month of evaluation going into the draft segs that I think may have, at least there'll be a lot of speculation on this kind of stuff, and it's already started. Good to see you today, brother. It's good to have you on. Always.
Good to have you as well. Yeah, Peter Schrager has the Rams taking Makai Lemon at 13 in his mock draft. I think it's the perfect fit for multiple reasons, like you said. This is a team that has been pushing their eggs all in every single year, and I think they will continue to do that for multiple reasons. The Puka Nacua stuff you just mentioned, Devontae Adams getting a little bit older, and even if Puka Nacua is there, and Devontae's probably in his last season in LA, who better to learn from if you're Makai Lemon than Puka Nacua? Both very good route runners, but Puka's arguably the best route runner in the world. Makai Lemon, maybe the best route runner in this draft. Come in, learn from him. You have 2 superstar wide receivers on your roster for at least the next 5 years, assuming everything's good with Nacua and he figures everything out and gets his shit in order. You could have a real dual assets for Matt Stafford towards the end of his career, and then whatever quarterback comes after him. So yeah, I think the Rams for Makai Lemon makes a ton of sense. And like you said, in my mock draft we did last week, I think I had him going 8 to the Saints. I don't know that he gets to the Rams at 13, like you mentioned.
If it's, I'm just telling you.
Yeah. So I really think that Makai Lemon is a top 10 pick. I have him as him and Carnell Tate. You can go 1-2, 2-1, however you want to do it. It depends on, I guess, what kind of wide receiver you want, because they are different. Tate's the bigger, more physical wide receiver in terms of like going up and getting it, contested catches. Makai Lemon's the great route runner that gets open. You can play him outside, inside, and do all that. So I guess it's what you're looking for in a wide receiver. But yeah, Makai Lemon to the Rams would be dangerous, because we see rookie wide receivers or playmakers come into the league and make instant impacts. And he definitely could in that Sean McVay offense.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It says a couple of things to this too, as to why do the Rams do stuff like this? Why? What's their thought process on going all in all the time to win a Super Bowl? And I'm going to answer that in a second. But I want you to think about the similarities just on the field of Lemon and Nacua. One is they close at the football about as good as anybody with their hands. And I played with 2 of the very best in the world, in Steve Largett and Chris Carter, at different times in different organizations, that knew how to close on the football, and neither one of them ran 4.3. Both closer to 4.6 than 4.5.
Yeah.
But the way they played football, you're like, you can't defend them. You whether it was one's quickness off the ball and Steve Largett's ability to cut on a dime and leave you 9 cents change, or Chris Carter's ability just to body you like a box out, catch it, and dunk on your ass with a football. And they were finishers. Lemon is tough, and I think Peter Schrager even said they love his toughness, and he's a dog, and he is a dog, no question about it. If you watch, I don't know, I guess I've seen him 85% of his snaps at SC. I guess I don't know but I've seen a lot of him in person and from a distance on television. He can flat ass play. They're route runners. And what do both of them have on the field, Sigs? They will take a hit and keep coming.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you will do other than coverage. I'm talking about physically intimidating that backs either one of them off. Matter of fact, the more physical you get, the better off they have you right in the palm of their hand because you're playing into their game. And I think Peter's spot on. I just don't know at 13. Listen, if I'm drafting him, I'm the 9th pick. I don't even know right now.
That'd be the Chiefs.
9. Okay.
Makes sense.
If you're the Kansas City Chiefs at 9, you already went and got your running back, right, Seg? So even if Notre Dame decided, the running back love fell to you, you got Kenneth Walker, and he's a Super Bowl MVP. You ain't drafting him.
Right.
If you're there, you're looking for the next level of explosiveness that they've missed, that they keep filling it in, but they don't have a long-term now. You get the kid from Texas who's a really good player, full block. Now imagine that. Worthy's speed with Lemon's closing ability.
And Rice's physicality when he's on the field.
Mahomes coming back out after an injury. You're saying, what's the next level of Red Bull we got to give us for the next 5 or more years? That gives it to you. I'm just telling you, if I'm the Rams and I'm staring up, I'm thinking, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, have Sean McVay be Andy Reid sitting in 9. Aren't you saying, I ain't getting the Rams get this dude? I'm at 9. If I'm Sean McVay and Les Snead, I'm playing the game. Why would Andy pass on him? Well, why would you?
Yeah.
And so unless you didn't love him as much as the rest of us, I think we do. So there's that part of it, Segs. He is a dog, and I think if he falls out of the top 10, you got a bargain. That if the Rams get him and sitting in 13, they should look at the rabbit's foot in their pocket. I think he's that good. Now, the other part of this is you asked the question as to why.
Yeah.
Not you, others are asking it, and you kind of said, Segs, about they always go all in. And I'm going to tell you why. Part of it for me. One is I think that the Sean McVay-Les Snead relationship is really good, the respect factor and understanding that they're both in it. They're not thinking about a Super Bowl 7 years from now. Why? Because neither one of them may be in the job. Les Snead may be running some other organization, or he may just decide I've had enough, or he may who the hell knows? But he's really good. And Sean McVay, I'm sure he revisits the $15 to $20 to $25 million a year broadcast job every year. And having that on his back burner allows him and the Rams to be convinced, well, what if Sean does leave? And Sean, the thought process of, you know what, I'm going to win now because I don't even know if I'm going to be coaching in 3 years, allows them to be urgent and intentional with their draft of who's going to impact our franchise now, not 4 years from now. Because in 4 years, this defensive coordinator may be coaching my team. I may be somewhere else. And I think lastly, I think the respect, and I know this sounds as a bit of a reach, but I don't believe it, that it's a reach. I'm not hyperbolic. I never am. I'm a lot of things, and hyperbolic ain't one of them.
Right.
I think that they realize the window with Matt Stafford. I do. And I think McVay and I think this trifecta of Stafford, Snead, and Sean McVay, I think this plan is where they're not drafted because in 3 years, Segs, you may be with a backup quarterback that you drafted or got somewhere else trying to build him and get him going. You realize that Stafford's MVP level, obviously, he's got the award, and playing as good a football as he's ever played, but how long can it last? Maybe 5 years, maybe 2. Maybe Matt says, I'm growing my family. I'm done, man. I've had it. No more. I'm going to go to University of Georgia in the offseason, and I'm going to be I'm going to live in Athens with my kids, and in 3 years I'll be the GM like Andrew, whatever it is. I don't know. Or maybe I'm going to sit on the beach and enjoy the hell out of my retirement.
Especially if they go win a Super Bowl. That's on that mind of I've won another one. I'm out. I'm going out on top.
Back to Highland Park, where me and Scotty Scheffler and Clayton Kershaw can all play golf at one of those at Dallas National and have a blast because Clayton's done. I'm done. Scheffler ain't done, but Scotty takes some weeks off with the kids and he's family. So we'll just go out and have a good time. We all went to school together, right? Different eras, but school together. Clayton and Stafford went. I think that they act on urgent because they know the window with their quarterback is such a high level. They know that Sean knows that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it. Every year we hear him flirt with, he's the equivalent in a better way with his thought process of, I don't know how long I'm going to do this. With Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers just waits a long time to tell you he's coming back. McVay lets you know, oh, yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing it. But at least he lets you know quickly that he's going to be around coaching this year. So you get both. I just think the McVay, Snead, Stafford, the reason why a guy like Makai, Lemon, or the reason why you keep seeing them go all in and they expect to win Super Bowls every year instead of let's build like a lot of places do say, oh, we got a 2-year hall pass. We'll see you in 3 years. That ain't the Rams' thought, because Sean McVay isn't thinking 3 years in advance. And I love that, because you know what? I really, Segs, don't give a shit about what my financial life's going to look like in 3 years or what home I'm living in. I know I'm living here. I'm trying to play where my feet are. Does that make sense? Yeah. Smartly and prepare for a future, but I want to win now. And I love the Rams' approach to this. And I think the McVay, how long, the Stafford, how long, and the Les Snead, I'm in charge of it. I got my 2 most important assets. Let's go now. Nobody's going to remember. If we just finish second for the next 5 years, nobody's going to remember. But they'll remember if we win another Super Bowl and all those guys leave. So I just think the Rams' approach is brilliant, but I'm going to give them a little hint here. And it's something that they already know. I'm not sure you're getting Makai Lemon at 13. So be prepared for that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be something to watch as the draft gets closer and we hear more and more rumors about where Makai Lemon will fall and what the wide receiver group of Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, and Jordan Tyson look like. Because we've heard rumors that Tyson's falling, but then we still see some guys have him mocked pretty high. All right.
Only takes one, Segs. Only takes one. It's not like college where you can transfer to 40 of them. It only takes one. Only takes one to love you. And if they do, doesn't matter what the other 31 teams think.
Exactly. All right. The story that is blowing up Twitter and the internet in the NFL world right now is these rumors and photos of New England Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and the Athletics reporter Diana Rossini, who covers the entire NFL, on a vacation. I mean, you see these photos, and we've got some statements from each party here. Let's start with Mike Vrabel's statement. These photos show a completely innocent interaction, and any suggestion otherwise is laughable. This doesn't deserve any further response. Rossini's quote is, "The photos don't represent the group of 6 people who were hanging out during the day. Like most journalists in the NFL, reporters interact with sources away from stadiums and other venues." And then you got the Athletics executive editor, Steven Ginsburg. "These photos are misleading and lack essential context. These were public interactions in front of many people. Diana is a premier journalist covering the NFL, and we're proud to have her at the Athletic." Sean, I see these photos, and it's not so much these, because I think these 2 photos up on the screen right now show, okay, yeah, it could be a vacation with a bunch of couples, and we're all just hanging out in a hot tub.
Where's the husband and wife?
Side.
Where's the husband and wife?
Yeah, exact. That is a question. But then there's the one where these 2 hugging and holding hands, where, as weird as it may sound, and I may be wrong on this, but my thinking of like me and my wife, when I hold hands with my wife, I cross fingers. You know how you kind of come together like that. If you're friends and you're messing around, you kind of just grab hands. You know, if you're like in a circle, like you were in as a kid and you're doing ring around the rosy, you kind of grab the other's hand. Maybe that's crazy of me, but these 2 photos are very damning, and they can say whatever they want. If I'm the significant other of Vrabel, of Rossini, I see these 2 photos, and if I wasn't there, we got issues.
Yeah. Segs, listen, we're all the nation, because social media is brutal at times, can be good at other times. There's a part of me that when I'm listening to what Mike and Diana Rossini and the Athletics say, like, I get it.
Yeah.
Who the hell in this day and age, with cell phones and privacy being trampled on, who the hell would have the balls in these 2 positions of, and no pun intended with balls, but you're powerful, a media reporter who's a female, and dude, I've been able to work with Susie Culber and Andrea Kramer and Linda Cohn and a bunch of, the list goes on. Phenomenal at their job. Mm-hmm. I think Holly Rose, one of the best we have. Phenomenal. They've worked their ever-loving ass off to overcome stuff that others just pin on them, because how can a woman be covering football? Well, how? Holly Rose knows how to cover sports.
Yeah.
And she does it as good as plenty of males. So listen, they're Segs, it's just the way, it's like an undersized guy that's with measurables. Hey, he's an undersized edge rusher. but he's still damn good at his job, right? Females do have a lot to overcome in this business. They've come a long way in women's sports, and that's a great thing. So unfortunately, stuff like this makes people and social media rip every female, and that's not fair. And Diana Rossini's done some good work. But I do get, okay, from a distance, you say, okay, the other 6 people, this at a resort. You think, who in their right mind? And we've all done stupid stuff. I know I have. Who in their right mind would, knowing that everybody's watching and you're Mike Vrabel and Diana, people know who you are, would take a pictures like this? So you think, of course it's got to be innocent, right? And then you take a step back. Bailey, put those initial ones up of the wide shot of them. And you don't know who Vrabel and Diana Rossini are. What's your first thought? Optics-wise.
They're on a vacation together.
That those two are together and they're at some private resort, correct? Yeah. That's the optics. And that's what I'm talking here. Regardless of if it's innocent or not, the perception and the optics say they're fucking around. That's the perception and the optics. I'm not self-righteous. I'm nobody's marriage counselor. I'm sure as hell nobody's, oh, you made a bad decision to whatever it is. See, when there's some things that are done by accident and there's some things that are just bad decisions. We've all done both. I know I have. I'll speak for myself. So I'm not from a distance judging how dare you guys and self-righteous, that guy. I'm just talking, remove us from it. I'm not going on here and say, of course they're banging. I don't know if I have no idea. And I don't know what goes on in Frabe's house, and I don't know what goes on in Diana Rossini's house, or what their relationships at home are like. I just know that if it's a young kid, my daughter or my son would have asked, Dad, what are you doing here? They would have. They would have as adults right now. So the perception, especially going back to how hard women fight for this, to be, and they've earned it, the respect part of being getting inside information, that stuff that you get used sources. But this doesn't help those out there, because you know what they do? All of a sudden we say, oh, how are they getting their information? That would be the perception here, correct? Which isn't fair. But the problem is, you made it public. You showed up like that. Is it innocent? Yes, but it doesn't look innocent to some out there. That's the problem I'm talking. It may be completely. And both. What I want to know, somebody go. If you're inside, go talk to the husband and wife. Yeah. Of the. Then I'd like to hear what their response is, because I know the optics. If it was my wife, or if it was Segs, if it was a husband, wouldn't you come back and say, yeah, there's 6 people there, but where are we? That would be my first thought. Well, why are you doing 100%. This? And I'm calling you on your phone. Are you answering? I mean, all the things that the insecurity part of this would create, correct? So this has another layer now when you see this, and it may be completely innocent, but the optics say, uh-oh, what goes on? So for me, I don't know what they're doing. I know damn well, like I said, I'm not judging Vrabel's marriage. I'm sure as heck not judging Diana Rossini's or how good they are at their jobs. We know Vrabel's good at his, and Diana Rossini seems to get a lot of information, break a lot of stories on a lot of teams. But this ain't helping. And then you're going to ask yourself, well, why does she get this information? And you say, well, she's good at her job. Well, yeah, but that Segs, what it does, it creates doubt. Yes. And this creates doubt in the marriage. It creates doubt. Segs, I went through a situation. I screwed up. My youngest kid came to me at school one day and said, the kids at school, because I was on national TV on a regular daily basis, came to me, and my kid said to me, Dad, what is this? Do you want to know where my heart went, Segs?
Drop to your stomach.
I mean, it almost brings me to tears now.
Yeah.
So forget all of us. Maybe they know, and you go home and tell them. But then that insecurity, then when your parents got in an argument when you were growing up, what's the first thing you thought? My parents are getting divorced. What am I going to do, right? So you go through these things and you don't consider the collateral damage. I know at times I didn't. But then it hit you and you're like, dear Lord, the optics of this, and now with social media, guess what, unfortunately, Diana Rossini is going to have to overcome now?
Oh, she's going to get constant tweets.
Right.
Every
Even
time she posts any bit of info. It don't matter if it's Patriots or not. And now what you do by this is drag every other coach in, every other
and every other reporter.
Yes.
And it goes. It can also go with a female, executive with a male reporter. It can go both ways. We're just talking about this. And then the other side of it is if something comes out about the Patriots and it's from her or you know what everybody's going to say? They must have called Mike, even if it's not true. So it's going to be easy for people to go in there and pile on, and I get it because the optics suck. It sucks for the family. It sucks for the significant other, and it's going to suck for them because you know what they're going to have to do now? Do a lot of explaining, and maybe they didn't have a reason to explain. But I'm just thinking, what were you thinking? Because you know when people take pictures like this, they're going to leave out the rest of the story.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you this, raising my hand, when I went through my controversy, they left out 85% of the other part of the story. Trust me, I get it. It had nothing to do with marriage. So I'm just telling you, man, the people make mistakes. But with social media, you just can't make these because now you got to answer quick. It's like the distraction for a team. Says, what do we say when something breaks out about a guy who was speeding or got in trouble a Friday before a Sunday game? Whoa, what a distraction that is, right?
Yeah.
This is just another distraction. It's hard enough being a head coach, hard enough being married, hard enough raising kids, hard enough getting inside information, hard enough doing your job and being a great reporter. Diana Rossini's been in the business for a while. My point is, there's going to be some that are going to try to kick them and put their foot on their throat because it's going to be convenient because social media. That ain't me because I'm not a marriage counselor and I'm sure as shit not an insider and I'm sure as shit not a head coach and I'm sure as hell not the judge, jury, and executioner. I'm just telling you, they've created a bad situation because you knew if their picture was 27 other people, guess what they're going to be. But this right here, Segs, the picture in the upper left, if I'm the husband, I'm seeing this, aren't you? When you're at work today, think what he's going to go through. And if you're the wife, when you walk to the grocery store, and we don't consider those, and the worst thing you can do in life when you're married, in my opinion, aside from abuse somebody, you know what it is, Segs? It's embarrass your significant other.
Yeah.
The one that wonders, what's going on when I'm not around? Does everybody know this when I walk into the coach's thing and everybody's snickering and laughing, and it's at my expense?
Right.
Those are the things that this creates. Hell, I love Mike, and I don't know Diana. I know her work. And so I'm not making excuses for them, and I'm not saying they did or didn't. I just know this, the optics of it are going to make it real, brother. I can take it from a guy with experience that not in this case, but in other case, the optics make it real, and the whole story will never get told.
Never.
Because now you got to do damage control. And it's just a bad gig. And if they are, well, I'm sure we'll know about it. If they aren't, maybe the wife and husband will come out. No big deal. We knew we were at the getting drinks at the doggone, but whatever or wherever it is. I just know this: optics alone, and regardless of what they knew, to social media and to the public, you know what we think? Well, where do you get your information? And it's not fair to her, but because of this, the optics. And secondly, the husband and wife now, the significant others, you've humiliated them in public. Whether you like it or not, that's just what you've done. Unless they both say, okay, let me reverse it. Rossini's husband, I know he's not a reporter, and I don't think I don't know what he does. And Vrabel's wife, they're seen sitting at a pool, hugging like this, and it's just those two. What would Mike and Diana think? Probably what we're talking about, right? Exactly. What are you talking about? You can't. What this does, it gives you the inside, it's just about sports excuse. Well, laying on a raft and holding hands is probably going to get a lot of people asking questions. I'm not here to judge them. I'm sure as heck not their divorce attorney, and I'm not their social media manager. I do know this, though, that this is going to create a lot of trouble, and you will get your own kids asking questions. Trust me, I know that. It hit me right between the eyes.
Well, we'll see if any other thing comes out about this over the next couple days and keep you up to date. Before we get to the Texans making a couple of expected moves and the Bears Stadium latest, tell me about Augusta Precious Metals.
Augusta Precious Metals. Guys, when you're protecting what you've already earned, IRA, 401k, it's not taxed when it comes to gold and silver and precious metals. Let's discuss moving forward how you're going to protect what you've already earned. Protect what matters most with gold and silver. Augusta Precious Metals is your premier gold IRA company. Diversify, protect, preserve, hedge against inflation. That's what this does. Precious metals, they are tangible assets. Protect retirement savings. That retirement you've already earned, is cash doing that? physical gold and silver, education first approach, no sales tactics at Augusta Precious Metals. That's why I was drawn to them. Drawn to them because they're not pressuring you and hammering you over the head with something. They're trying to educate you so you know what's best for you, your family, your peace of mind, your security now, later, and in the distant future. How much time you have, how much money you have. Precious Metals. It's your premier gold IRA company. That is Augusta Precious Metals. Secure your future with tangible assets. Visit SeanBuysGold.com. SeanBuysGold.com. Gold and silver continue to rise. And it's one of those, there's no guarantees in life or in sports or in money, but I'll be damned if gold and precious metals isn't about as close as you're going to get. Text Sean to 35052. Again, there's no guarantees, but there is a guarantee that you'll get educated on precious metals. Again, text Sean to 35052 or go to SeanBuysGold.com. SeanBuysGold.com. Free information, no obligation, guidance, education, and confidence. SeanBuysGold.com. Segs, you remember real quick, and thank you to Augusta Precious Metals, our great partner. And I don't remember the date of it, but remember when Jessica, I think it's McLuhan, the Scott McLuhan, the GM of the Redskins at the time, was and Jessica, his wife, was accused ESPN reporter Diana Rossini on Twitter of exchanging sexual favors for information of being her husband's side chick. And then at Diana Rossini, please tell us how many BJs you had to give to get this story. And this is from Jessica McLuhan. And did they laugh at you before or after? And then Diana Rossini said, I absolutely think of, it's a small print, I absolutely think of the Redskins, if the Redskins have a losing record by the bye, changes will be made. My opinion, not reporting. And then McLuhan's wife, I'm pretty sure this info is coming from my husband to his new side chick, Diana. It's confirmed. So listen, well, I don't know if that's true either. It could be whether it's a, and I like I said, I'm not trying, I don't know Diana Rossini. I know Mike Vrabel. We don't hang out, but you know my respect for him as a coach.
Yeah.
And I can compartmentalize. You could be a good coach and still be banging somebody else or not. Yeah. Okay. If this ain't the first time, and this ain't the first, I'm not talking about Vrabel or Diana Rossini. This ain't the first time an athlete or a coach or an executive has been seen banging help or banging somebody who they work with or next, whatever. But it's not a good look. And they may not care, and that's okay. They'll handle their business at home the way they do. Because like I said, I don't get paid by the hour to be a marriage counselor, but I do know this. And a lot of us have needed one in the past. I do know this, that when it gets to that point and there's smoke there, the question is it kindling or is this a big bonfire that it's not just one coach or one executive? And Diane will have to answer that. Mike will have to answer that. And I hope it's not, for the family's sake and the kids' sake, the people that you know or have been through it. But I think most people's first thoughts, Segs, are going to be from past, may say no shock, right?
Yeah.
But then again, Twitter can be vile, social media can be vile, and people's opinion, if they don't like it, can be vile. I just know this, the fact that we're talking about it, and we don't, that's why they speculate all you want. It's our job to talk about stuff that's in sports or politics or what have you. And no accusation, but I can tell you this, that a lot of lives have been ruined along the way, and the collateral damage you have to fix to do this is not worth the orgasm. Let me just put it to you that way. Yeah. It ain't. It isn't. So there you go.
Yeah, it's we know it happens all over sports, so we'll just leave it at that. All right, Texans make a couple expected moves today. They pick up the fifth-year options on quarterback C.J. Stroud and edge rusher Will Anderson. Both guys are extension eligible. I believe Will Anderson will become the highest paid defensive player in football history by the end of this offseason, before training camp sometime. The question is, does C.J. Stroud get that big extension as the quarterback of the Texans, or do they hold off, make him play his fourth year, and then make your decision? You'll still have that, what is it there, $25.9 million for C.J. Stroud in 2027. So that will still be sitting there. That's fully guaranteed. So congrats to CJ Stroud for getting $25 million guaranteed. But will the Texans make his 4th year be the year that he has to show them progress, or the extension talks are off completely?
Segs, for me, what I would do, Will Anderson's proven he doesn't need to play this out. He's first.
Pay that,
even
man.
though the quarterback's so, that's right. There's no doubt. If it was me, as good as I think CJ Stroud can be and has been at times, and the flashes of brilliance, and I think he gets it, and I think he understands the pressure he's under to perform.
Yeah.
And that he needs to be the strength, not a guy we're questioning. You would have to play this one, the majority of it out, before I'm ready to give you an extension. I've seen the Tua movie. I've seen the movie too many times on overpaying guys that have underproduced. I just have. And good players, but they've underproduced for the $60 million price tag.
We just saw Kyler Murray and Tua, like you just said, have Tua had an insane amount of dead cap that they just basically had to eat and cut them and deal with it later. You don't want that if you're the Houston Texans, because especially for them, compared to the Dolphins and the Cardinals, the Texans are in a Super Bowl window with that defense and the playmakers they have, that they need the quarterback. And if CJ Stroud isn't the guy, go find the next guy.
Segs, most of the time, when you overpay early, you get underperformance. You just do. So I'm okay. And you know what? It's also the test of, okay, dude, you've been kicked in the teeth. How are you going to respond?
Yeah.
We talk about responding when there's a $1:45 to go in the 4th quarter, taking them down on a 2-minute drive that Elway and Manning and Brady and Marino did 8 billion times, right? And Warren Moon. But so you're under that now with a full season. But here's what I'm going to tell you from their standpoint, what's going to happen. And no, I'm not at a resort getting any information from this, Segs. I'm just telling you my opinion of watching sports. Is neither guy is going through all the 2026 season wondering.
Yeah.
Now, you buy into that however you want. Will Anderson's not getting through. As a matter of fact, training camp won't be done. He's going to get his.
Yeah.
I believe CJ Stroud, it may take a – now, Segs, with this, if they start out hot and he's playing well the first month, there's no rule against negotiating and extending a guy during the season. Now, you hear guys say all the time, I'm not talking during the season. If I come at you with $60 million a year, your ass is talking.
You're listening.
Save it. You can be bought like the rest of us. So I'm not saying CJ said it, but we've heard it. Once the season starts, I'm not negotiating. Your ass. I come at you with what you want, you will negotiate. And if it starts the way I think it's going to start for CJ and the Texans, this will be the highest paid duo in NFL history. On the same team, I'm talking about an offensive, defensive player on the same team getting paid that kind of money. So neither guy is going to be at the end of this. Neither guy is rolling through at the end of this wondering if that current team is going to pay him. Because you're either going to know with CJ Stroud, because if the season goes through and they have not paid him, and it's kind of up and down season, he's not getting $60 million. If it's one of those where they're 9-7 at a certain point, get the 10-7, and he's had a mid-season Segs, they're not giving him $60 million. They may negotiate and give him an extension, but it ain't going to look like he wants it to look.
Right.
If he plays great, he's not getting to the end of the season because they are going to pay him. So he'll know one way or the other if it's here or somewhere else. But as a Texan, both of these guys by Halloween are going to know. One's going to know by the time he takes his first drink of Gatorade before season starts in preseason. The other one, it may be let's wait a little bit to see, because that's a lot of deep negotiations you got to do between now and then. My gut tells me, and the way this team's being built, that both guys are going to be the highest paid or close to one. The quarterback will be close. He won't be the highest, but Will Anderson will end up being the highest paid defensive player in history. And CJ Stroud will be close to the quarterback if he starts fast. Will Anderson gets done before CJ Stroud if they're both in contract rarefied air when it comes to money.
Yeah, it's something we'll have to wait and see with CJ Stroud. Like you said, we know what will happen with Will Anderson. All right, staying in the NFL, the Bears, new stadium. We got some info yesterday from Schefter and some others that the Bears will decide in the next couple weeks of where their next home will be. If it's Arlington Heights, where the old horse race track used to be, that's the land that the Bears bought. I think it's already 5 years ago for a couple $100 million. But did
they do that? Did they buy that, Segs, in thinking this was going to be it, or just because it was a real estate investment?
Yeah, they bought this thinking this is going to be the next site of the stadium. Arlington Heights worked, their city government worked overtime to get this deal done. And then here comes the politicians in Illinois trying to push everything. And like I said, they were hoping to have shovels in the ground. I think they bought this late 2021. They were hoping to have shovels in the ground end of 2022, early 2023. Sean, it's 2026, and we're still sitting here talking about where the Bears are going to have. And then you got the dumbass Chicago mayor keeps sticking his nose in, being like, oh, well, we've got the perfect spot for the stadium right here in downtown Chicago. Why should the Bears leave the city and blah, blah, blah? While I agree with them that I would love the Bears to be in Chicago, it's not happening. Stop talking. You're not part of this. Get out. Just get out of the conversation because you keep doing this. The Bears already rejected the site and the NFL rejected the site that he keeps
two pretty
pushing.
Important pieces in this, Sigs. Yes. It ain't happening in downtown Chicago.
Brandon Johnson, you got way more shit to worry about in your city that is just a shithole right now.
He can't run his own. Yeah, it's a great city, great fan. There's nothing about Chicago not to like other than the politics and cleaning it up. He can't run his own nose, let alone make that decision.
He's the worst.
But stay in that lane.
It comes down to Arlington Heights, the land that they own, and that's if Illinois lawmakers can get in and pass the whatever the law or whatever they have to pass to say, okay, we will do this. We will help you guys in this tax abatement. We will do all the sewage and all that infrastructure and make that site ready for a stadium and everything that's going to go around it, or it's Northwest Indiana.
Segs, how long have they owned the property? How long have they
I want to say 5 years.
In Indiana?
Late 20. Oh, no, in Indiana, they don't own property.
Of course, they're kind of, this is basically Indiana saying, we're saving this plot for you, this acreage, if you want.
Yeah.
Then if you don't, you decide on Arlington Heights, then somebody else can buy it. So basically, as far as commercial property.
Indiana. Yeah, there's a couple sites in Indiana that are being discussed.
But they're saving it. They're saving it for the Bears to make this decision.
They want the Bears in Indiana.
Right. Because I'd even be more to think, well, if the Bears purchased both properties, right, early, then they were just in a pit each other against each other. Because I'm sure the property in Indiana, Segs, is a lot less expensive.
Oh, very much.
Than property in Arlington Heights, right? It has to be, correct? I mean, just over the board, I would think, just on the sheer commercial real estate or residential real estate prices for the most part. But I just didn't know if the Bears, and maybe it was in the stories over the last couple of years that we've been reading, I knew they had purchased the Arlington Heights, but I was wondering if in Indiana that's it, or that's just kind of, well, we got this basically reserved for you guys to make it. It's here if you want it type of decision.
Yes,
and I wonder what the discount on the tax rate and everything else will be for them when all is said and done, what kind of benefits they're going to get from moving. Probably anything they want, Segs, for the most part.
I mean, it'll be what all other stadiums get. It'll be like what LA got with SoFi, the 6 or 7% that they pay instead.
Well, the Texans are getting it out here for the practice facility area. They ain't paying for shit when it comes to a lot of the stuff around.
And that's
everybody else.
Bears keep going to the state of Illinois and saying, look at all these other stadiums. Look what's being done to keep it in, at least in the state. Now, I mean, there's so many other things. And real quick, they officially bought it in early 2023, but reports that they had made the deal was late 2021. So they were hoping
bought
to
it and put some money in escrow for it, are two different things. But they're basically the same.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's just you asked the question yesterday, how do Bears fans feel about if their team moves to Indiana?
And I asked you how you feel. Are you still as all in if they're an Indiana residents, even though they're Chicago Bears? Tell me how you feel about it as a fan.
I would find it very annoying, I guess is the way to put it. It wouldn't change my fandom. I'd still be a fan of the Bears. It's not like they're moving from Chicago to Arizona like the Cardinals did. Remember, the Cardinals were in there. They actually moved
or the St. Louis Rams back to Anaheim or back to Los Angeles.
Yes, right. So it's not like they're moving cities in terms of far away. They'll still be close. They'll still be the Chicago Bears. You'll still see the skyline from the stadium, but it does feel weird and it is annoying just to have all that Indiana Bears shit and all this stuff. It's frustrating, but it would not affect my fandom of the team at all.
Okay, because Indiana, certain places in Indiana can say, "Oh, they're the Indiana Bears." You guys don't even get to claim it. You know how that social media talks.
It's just like the Giants and the Jets in New Jersey.
Right. And, okay. Right. That's exactly right. So let me ask you this too. How far is it to that spot in Indiana? One of those, just over the border stakes. How far is it? Hour-wise?
So from the city, it is, or from this stadium, from Soldier Field, the Indiana site that they're really considering, I think, is 25 miles, whereas Arlington Heights is actually further. So,
further out to the suburbs, right?
Right. So that kind of, when you really say it like that, it kind of sounds dumb, but it's just the fact that it's just over the imaginary line.
Semantics,
of the state line into Indiana.
So Segs, would you feel different like a lot of Charger fans did? And me having played in the organization, it hit me a little different, even though I'm a Raider fan. And it's blasphemous to be a Raider fan if you grew up as a Charger guy, right?
Yeah.
But is it possible that, that's 2 hours, and depending on traffic, 2.5 hours away from where Qualcomm was, to where where their stadium is, right? I'm just curious. Do you blame fans? Because I got a lot of buddies that I grew up in the mean streets of Esco that are Charger fans, right?
Yeah.
Have been forever. And even people who played in the organization that no longer call them their team because, well, one, the Spanos family at times ruined that for them.
Right.
And with all the constant, and because you knew the money grab part of it, and I get it's all about money, but they will no longer, they may root for them, but they're not as passionate about it. And it's only 2.5 hours up the road. Does that distance, would it be different for you if it was a 3-hour drive, Segs? Or does a 25 miles an hour matter? You know what I'm saying? Is that semantics too? What is it for you?
See, it's weird for me because
you're in the suburbs.
But it was a possibility with the White Sox. Jerry talked, first of all, a long time ago when they first, in the late 80s, after he bought the team, talked about moving them to Tampa. That didn't happen. Major League Baseball basically said, you have to stay in Chicago. Chicago's big enough for two cities. You're one of the first franchises in MLB history. You have to stay in Chicago. Then there was talk of them moving to Nashville and becoming the Nashville whatever. And so it's kind of the same thing there where with the White Sox and the Bears, this would be like if the Bears, say, moved to St. Louis, about 3 hours away from me, and they would change it to the St. Louis Bears.
Now that's a problem, Segs. That's a big problem there.
So, and that's kind of that San Diego Chargers to LA Chargers thing.
Yep.
It would be weird.
It's a pride thing, Segs. So people in San Diego felt betrayed. You went just 2.5 hours. I can still drive there and tailgate and go to games. But the fact that you're called the Los Angeles Chargers as opposed to the San Diego Chargers makes you realize that you're no longer a member of my home. You've been, we have 86'd your ass. And that's the way a lot of fans in San Diego feel.
It's tough. I'm of the mindset of once you're a fan, you should always be a fan of that team. Now, yes, I understand moving and stuff changes your feelings, and maybe I wouldn't feel as passionate. In the middle of the night. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't feel as passionate about the White Sox or the Bears if they were to say move to Nashville or St. Louis or whatever. I'm one that you pick a fan base or a team when you're young or when you get into sports, and that's got to be your team. Flipping and flopping and doing all this shit where you're fans of 6 teams and all this stuff doesn't make sense.
That's not fandom, Segs. That's
a
waffling fan.
Exactly. For you, it's different. You played for the Vikings. You played for the Chargers. You grew up a Raiders fan. You can kind of root for all those organizations to do well, but in the end, you're a Raiders fan.
And Segs, put it this way, and I did. The Chargers or the Vikings paid me. Raiders didn't. But I think you're a worse fan if you waffle between. And I understand that you take offense, but it's not the player's fault that they're playing in Indiana. Right. Or you still root for those guys in the logo on the helmet. You're still rooting for the dudes on the back. I mean, you got the names on the back, and you're still rooting for, this is my team, these are my guys. They didn't control the billionaire's decision to go somewhere else. But I will tell you this. I said it to you, and you heard me say it, Segs, when you were producing my show locally in Houston. I love the Astros, and working for the when I worked for the flagship, it was awesome getting to interview the GM every week and stuff. Loved it, and it grows on you. But make no mistake about it, in the American League playoffs and when the Red Sox won the World Series, I didn't stand on a chair and rub it in. But everybody that tuned into my radio show knew it was Red Sox first, because I'd have been more of a bitch had I have abandoned the Red Sox because I moved to a city. Okay, and it's the same thing here. I love the Vikings. I want the Vikings to win. I hope they do. I'd love the Chargers. Right? If they were still in San Diego, I'd root harder. It's easier not to because I'm not affiliated with them. But I know Dean Spanos, and they were good to me when I played there. But if it comes down to who's going to the Super Bowl or who wins, the Vikings are playing the Raiders. Guess what? Silver and black all day, every day. And that's nothing to wouldn't bash the Vikings, but just because they paid me doesn't mean I could take what I grew up and my dad and mom and what we did. Hell, I went to a Raider game growing up before I went to a Charger game, and I lived in San Diego. Yeah. So for me, it's I'm with you. Once a fan, always a fan, unless you've been offended by them or what have you. But I get why some fans lose passion like they did when San Diego left. I don't hate them for that either, because all the money you got to spend,
passion,
season tickets and the rest of it.
But then to like turn and be a Rams fan or something, in my head, that just doesn't work. I don't know. I'm a very strict. So for like baseball, it's White Sox. I don't have any other teams I follow or really. I mean, I follow baseball overall, but I don't like, I love
You're rooting for one team.
The Marlins.
Period.
Yeah, it's
You're
one
rooting
team.
for one college team, period.
Yes, it's Michigan and everything. And I'm one, I go further. I'm a fan that I want my teams to win. And if you're one of my buddies, and like my buddies, I have a bunch of Cubs fans. I don't want to see the Cubs win a World Series. If I'm not winning, I want you to be just as miserable as me.
Miserable, that's right.
That's how
and if
I
you
am
win, and if you win, you want them to be even more miserable because they got to celebrate you or buy you the beer because you won. Oh, there's no doubt. That's gamesmanship, brother.
And that's what I'm going through right now. Michigan wins the national title in basketball. I got a bunch of Illinois fans that are friends, and just shooting them a little text of Dusty May holding the trophy or something along those lines, just to get at them a little bit. That's what I think fandom is about, having fun with it and not being ignorant, but just having fun with it and kind of rubbing your nose in it a little bit and say, hi, yeah, my team did win. Yours didn't. Now, if your team win, I expect you to come right back and give it to me. And I laugh and we have fun with it. And that's what sports should be. Not this, I hate this guy. Like, I despise Ohio State and Michigan State being a Michigan fan. That's how it should be. That's how it should be as a Michigan fan.
Ohio State and Michigan State, just like me, buddies of mine from UCLA, I go play golf with you. I'm going to talk shit the whole time, but I still love you. I still got you, but golf's the perfect place for me while I'm smoking a cigar, buy you a beer, say, I'm not buying you anything. I'm wearing the ring tonight, son. Me and to have that banter,
Michigan State
what fandom is about. Right.
And we still, we text to this day, just like, hey, did you see what just happened? Make sure you tuned in, all this kind of stuff. That's what sports to me is about, being a fan, sticking with that team through. Sean, I'm a fucking fan of 2 Jerry Reinsdorf teams. You know what that's like?
Yeah.
I mean, you went through Al Davis.
I'm a Raider fan, dude. Stop it. Do I know? I know about as close as anybody does.
Now imagine the Lakers being owned by that same guy, and he just ruins both. And it's just like,
I feel you, brother. I know your pain because I'm in the middle of it. I'm actually and you got to throw, even though we've been pretty good, we still are not the dominant. My Trojans, you don't think? I mean, you don't think I'm not hearing that? It won't matter what it is. I mean, I'm still hearing that. So get it all the time, and that's part and parcel of being a fan and being one of those that lives and dies with your team. But you still got to get over it. Right. I get over the wins a lot faster than I get over the losses. Sags. Yes. I always have. The good stuff, that's great. But when you lose, it festers a lot longer. Your buddies don't let you live it down. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, even just to myself, like Michigan losing in 2013 in basketball and then 2018 in basketball. And it's like both those games they should have won. And they didn't. And it just bugs the shit out of you. And then even going into a game on Monday night, I'm like, I can't take them losing again. I can't.
The only reason
will piss me off so much.
Right. And when you talk about your Bulls and White Sox, the only reason people don't have enough, that don't feel your pain enough, because you know what they'll always revert back to? Yeah, but dude, you got to be there through the Jordan and the Blackhawks times. You're like, you still have enough artillery to fight them off. You know what I'm saying? And now that Michigan's won 2 national championships, meaning in hoops and in football. Months. Right. So pretty good. You're on a pretty good run here, brother. So I'm not feeling sorry for your Bulls and White Sox. Okay.
Yeah, I had to tell my son, who's he's diehard now. He watches every basketball.
You brainwashed him. There you go.
Yes. Yeah. The other one kind of watches, but he's not into it. This one is. I had to tell him, dude, it's not like this. You don't win 2 championships every 26 months. You don't get to celebrate this like this. I grew up having 1 Michigan title in 98 with Charles Woodson in that group. Other than that, Michigan, they've gotten close, but they never got there until finally football did.
You got to share with the kids almost, Segs, that the norm is where you're not winning them.
Right.
So that's where it's the bummer. Most of the time you're crying in your beer or your drink or your soda or your orange juice as opposed to your apple juice than you are celebrating 2 of them in 26 months. And that's why, like when Boston or when a city like LA goes and SC wins a national title, the somebody wins a Super Bowl and somebody else wins an NBA, Lakers win a championship, you're like, or when Boston, the Bruins win and the Patriots win and the Celtics win, it's like, you spoiled sons of bitches. But that's right. Sometimes those things happen, and Philly does it. It's a good thing, man.
I just saw Portnoy from Barstool post a tweet that everything Boston has won, or his teams, counting Michigan, has won since he started Barstool. It's like 19 championships. Something along those lines. Like, that's insane with the Bruins
in
and
all
the
sports
Patriots
at Michigan,
and the Celtics and the Red Sox, and then Michigan. It's just like most of them get to live like that. Yeah,
you ain't lying, brother.
Live like that. So, real quick, NCAA looking at the 5 years post graduation, or when you turn 19, you get 5 years after that. There is no exemptions unless it's religious missions, which is like BYU, maternity leave or paternity leave. If you are, and I tweeted this out, I think you have to be away from the team for the entire season. You're not with them hanging out, learning. No, if you're there, you're there. If you're gone for the
and if you're not, you got to stay away to get the extra year.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So
those
I kind
are
of added that in
right.
as well.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously the NCAA is listening. They see what Tuberville did. They see what the president's doing. They see Nick Saban saying how much he loves what the president's doing. Obviously, someone's listening and say, guys, we got to figure something out.
And I hate to tell you, I'm really sorry that you went through injuries. I'm really sorry that you struggled with it. It's a bummer, but there is you go on a church mission before you come up. Well, then you tell some kid at Michigan, hey, then go on a church mission. Yeah. Well, I don't want to go on a church mission. Okay, then you got 5 to complete 5, dude. Yes. That's just the way it works. And it doesn't matter what happens in between. You got to go. And if you're a female and you're pregnant, or you get paternity leave to be with your wife because she went through a tough but you can't hang around the team.
Yes, you can't be there.
Significant, you can't do it, right? And that's fair. There should be no argument.
Unanimous.
This should be easy and done, and nobody should disagree with it.
And if you are injured, you just tell the kid, sorry, that's life. That's life.
Went through it twice. Yep. I get it.
Yep.
It's been great to have 2 more years, but college sports is not your lifetime career, although the money you're getting paid may look like it in some cases, but it is a means to get to your career, not to stay in it and live in it and make it your 15-year job like you're a lifer in college. That doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it's just a situation. We'll see if the NCAA actually rectifies an agreement that says this is what it is, this is how we're doing it, and maybe some conference says no and just leaves on their own. We'll see.
Well, bye. Yeah. See ya.
Right.
We'll decide. The NCAA is against this, and maybe it's time to dissolve them completely.
Yeah. There needs to be some sort of organization that comes up with a set of rules that says this is the way it is. All these colleges are under this umbrella. And this is how it works. I don't care.
Every league, every division, every conference. It doesn't matter if you're NAIA all the way up to Division I. Doesn't matter.
I don't care if you're a JUCO kid that goes 2 years, like Lendeborg went 2 years JUCO, then he went to UAB for a year, or 2 years, excuse me, and then he came to Michigan. That's his 5th year.
You got 3 years left if you go to 2 years of JUCO.
Yeah.
You got 3 years left to play.
Simple.
That's
Simple.
it. Yeah.
Simple.
Done.
I mean, and
now remember, Segs, they're also here with this real quick. They're giving you 5 to play 5. They're going to allow you to play 5.
Yeah. You don't have to.
I couldn't play for. I didn't get to play. Yeah, I didn't get to. Right. We had a red shirt to get the 5th year, and you used it and try to get done so you could work on a master's degree or get healthy or what have you. You didn't get. You got 5 to play 4, not 5 to play 5. So if you want some console, well, this sounds a little bit harsh. No, it's not. They've actually given you an extra year to play a 5th year to get your game or your injury rectified.
Yeah.
Simple. This is their consolation. And that's the way it should be. You don't deserve to have 7 to play 7. I'm sorry. Right. You just don't.
Basically, they're giving you that 5th year and taking away all this hardship exemptions that all these players are trying to get, like Trinidad Chambliss and others that are trying to get their 6th, 7th, 8th. And we've even talked about a guy getting his 9th year in high school.
We put uniforms on people in the NFL and college. They all got to wear the same uniforms, same socks.
Same ones.
You know, hell, in the NFL, you can't have your socks below your calves. They got to be pulled up.
Yep.
And if not, you go out, or the uniform police will get you. Trust me, I know I got hit with it. So why is it so hard to have uniformed rules on controlling what is out of control? And that is the NC2A, NIL, and the transfer portal.
It needs to be done. All right, real quick before we leave, Masters starts tomorrow. Who you got winning?
I'm going with Ludwig Oberg. Segs, I think he's close.
Your guy.
I am. You know why? And it's not. I'm not just picking him to pick him because I'm going to pick him until he wins. I'm going to tell you what. If Koepka putts, be careful here. He's playing better golf than he was at the start, and he looks at. Of course, the Rory. I'm trying to pick somebody that isn't going to be McIlroy or Scheffler. Yeah. But I'm just telling you, his ability to work the ball. He's been through some heartache. He can win. He can hit it as far as he wants. Smooth. I just don't know if Ludwig right now has and I don't want it to sound wrong. He's 26 years old. Is his casual approach perfect for this? You know, just smiling, or do you need to be more of a grinder? Whatever works for him. I think Matsuyama is extremely dangerous here, Segs, because he's long enough to dominate every par 5, and he's done it in his past. He's won, and you just got to be able to hit the ball high and hit it close, because putting, you know, it's going to come down to, if you look at the putting thing, you know what cost Justin Rose last year, Segs, as good as he played? You know what cost him? I think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday or Friday? He had like 36 putts. Yeah. You can't win there. And it came down to a playoff. Without that, he wins going away. So I'm going to take Ludwig because I think it's time, as the most talented, to win a major that hasn't. I think I'm going to roll with him this week again because I think he's set up for it. But Tommy Fleetwood's got a 9-wood in play this week. Segs, it sounds weird, like that's who he used to. But high, can hold greens, and you can get to him. And the guy is such an iron-playing fool. Look out for him. So give me Ludwig with the win this week, and we'll see if Rory can go out there and do what only 3 have done, I think, and that's go back-to-back. Faldo, Nicklaus, and Woods have defended their title.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jon Rahm.
Even with all the talk and the controversy, yes. Now he is tough as hell and will fight you.
I think,
and he is long and has won one here before.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I think if he can get his head right and just everything smooth going into tomorrow, I think he can go win it again. 2
things, Segs, real quick. When in doubt, hit it in the middle of the green. Take a par and go home.
Yes.
Secondly, I'm not sure it's knowing where to hit it to get close. I'm sure it's knowing where to hit it to make sure you don't take a triple. Knowing where to miss is going to be like in this collection area, or don't miss behind this green. The ability to put your pride aside, know where to miss. It's rare you're going to get shots like Bubba Watson did, Segs, where he had to wrap it around to win his. Phil Mickelson, who against his caddy's wish, when Bones and he were talking about, he says, I'm going to have to do something special here. And he hit that doggone ball to about 5 feet from the pine straw. I had to wrap it around. Or what Rory did last year, Segs, when he hit that middle iron and hit it to 8, missed the putt, but made birdie. If you remember, on 13, the guy had an 80-yard little lob wedge, which is he's great with the lob. The dude hit it into the creek like you and I would. And he still went on to win the tournament.
Yeah, we're all like, what?
You better know. Yeah, exactly. Oh, 80 yards with a lob wedge? Sure, I know how to hit it in Race Creek. But then to stay alive, and the guy who the plotters, man, you just got to plod. You don't have to be spectacular. You got to plod along. And I think Eastwood's good enough. Clint Eastwood is too. Tommy Fleetwood, Clint. Is Fleetwood's iron play is so good. I don't think Fleetwood's ego gets in the way. some ego and some playing it too safe, both ways extreme, are going to cost guys in this next 4 days.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Me and Sean will both be probably very preoccupied during the show tomorrow because we're going to be watching the Masters as it's going on.
If you see my eyes dart constantly, it's because somebody's over a 50-foot putt. And I'm trying to see if he can 2-putt it instead of 3-putt it.
Right. So we'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. Thanks for watching Unpaved, the flagship show of USC football. We talked about Makai Lemon, Houston Texans coverage. We talked about C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson's fifth-year options being picked up. Get over to YouTube. You can find all our long shows, our shorts, all that kind of stuff at Unpaved Sean Salisbury. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow Sean at Sean Unfiltered, myself at Adam G. Sager. Thanks to Bailey, Laura, all our viewers, commenters, and listeners. And always remember, optics mean something.
Because if they don't, you got a lot of splaining to do.
Yes.
I got news for you. And it ain't going to go away anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. Peace.
Unpaved, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.